they died compartments. Please leave me a moment. I need to take out my compartment. Okay. 2 years ago, I was living in this experience when I received this silver coin. On 11th of February of 2016, I performed my Icebreaker. In those days, I was living in one of the most crazy experiences of my life. I didn't have time for the greatest and most exciting pleasure of our life, that luxury that all of us believe. Which one do you think it is? Feel free to say which one do you think is that excitement, that moment, that emotion that I didn't have time for that.
Vacation?
No.
Date?
No.
Happiness?
No.
Restaurant food?
No.
Bathroom.
No. Worry.
Huh?
Yes.
Worry?
Worry is a luxury. Why? Because when you are busy, you don't have time for worrying about crazy things that are surrounding you. You are focused on different stuff. And in those days, 4 things were happening in parallel in my life. I was for the first time after 8 years in the finals of Imagine Cup. I was in the finals of the Cisco Switch Up Challenge. I was writing my master's thesis, and at the same time, I was writing a scientific paper for a conference, all at the same time. If I was worried about how the life looked like, and I was not living in this compartment, well, I wouldn't have succeeded in anything that I was working on at. But one of the projects was more successful than the other ones, and it was the Cisco Switch Up Challenge. That project allowed me to go to Silicon Valley, to meet amazing people, to meet the former CEO of Cisco, and enjoy a new experience. But when I came back from there, things cooled down so much. Because my friends and the people that were working with me in the experiments, because I'm an innovator and I'm constantly trying new things, I enjoy to create, to innovate, develop hardware, software, and other things from scratch. But my friends thought, well, man, your ideas seem fun. Maybe I will get married. Maybe I will move somewhere else. Some will move from Krakow, other ones moved to Warsaw, other people came back to El Salvador, other people moved to Canada. They didn't care about the business. They didn't saw the greater picture that there are things that we can do. So in those days, I need to put on hold my experiments and my projects in certain way. And what happens when you are living those things? When you are not active enough, we replace our hobbies, our passions with something else. And I replace it with something that I call the worrying device. Yet, we haven't evolved enough from the times of Aristotle and those famous philosophers. They were for many centuries discussing about the worry, about how this feeling kills us from inside. And what I did, I replaced it with this thing. People think that these are smartphones. I call them worrying devices. But why? Because instead of focusing on my business, on my projects, I was constantly doing fapping, checking what's going on here, wasting my time, thinking what's going on with other people. It took me 2 years and to lose 2 area contests to realize about my addiction and my problem with this device. And thankfully, I lost them. Because if I would have won anything, I would have been worried in Warsaw, I would have worried in Athens, I would have been worried and more in my life. What happened? Exactly 1 month from 1 month ago, I was sleeping in my room. I didn't move from that. I was not thinking why I didn't win, why it didn't happen. I was thinking what's going on in my life. In January, I started to discuss what was happening. I always have a mental breakdown, and I realized that something was not going well. And it's that the last year, there was no innovation. There were no contests for the first time in 8 years in my life. And that's how that day I realized that I had a problem with this device. And I realized my father, I took drastic decisions and I said, no, get out of this. I've been 1 month going to work, been lost in all around Bush and in many places. And what I have learned, that without this device, the life is much better for me. It will be for other people. It's hard to say. But what is important is that in those days, I finally took one book one more time. That is, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. In that book, the first chapter focused that we need to live in day-time compartments. And what does it mean? You need to live every single day as if it's the last one. Not focusing on the past, because what happened, or even what I told you a couple of seconds ago, I cannot change it. Focus on the present. Don't think about the future, but work on the future. And every day, when I'm going out from my place, I start with a single and new quote. That is, every day is a new life to a wise man. If I can recommend this grace experience for any of you, it's up to you if you're ready to pay the ultimate price and start a new living without worries. What could be your worry? Not necessarily the fun. It can be something else in your life. But in order to be that, you need to start doing those drastic decisions. I invite you to try.